Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So a while back, like quite a long time ago, back in like 2018, 2019, when we knew there was going to be an all-wheel drive car, we had big extensive conversations on Corvette Forum, and I basically said that GM is silly not to offer all-wheel drive on every single model, and they should just use the electric to offer all-wheel drive on every model, and then that would better balance the car, because at the time I already knew the car was going to be out of balance. And ignorant people like Deb Lowe and all the other GM puppets sat there and argued with me, the car's perfectly balanced. You're not smarter than GM engineers. It's like, it's race car 101, guys. You don't balance a car at 6139, okay? It's 3169. So anyway, the little puppets of Oz all sat there and argued with me. But the point is, I made a comment. I said when the eray doesn't sell well, because it's not going to, because people are going to realize that it handles like crap, like the NSX feel of the vehicle when you go into a turn too hot, how it's just not right. When the eray handles like crap, for those of us who really like to drive at the limit in turns, General Motors is going to have all this R&D for these electric motors. So at that point, General Motors is going to be foolish not to go ahead and chalk the eray up as a quote-unquote test mule and go ahead and make all-wheel drive across the board, and also bring the two-wheel drive Grand Sport back. So here's what I think is going to happen. The eray name is going to die, and you're going to have the Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X. You're going to have the Z06 and the Z06-x. You're going to have the zr1 and the zr1-x. Okay, and you're going to have the Zora and the zora-x. And originally, I thought that the zr1 was going to be, you know, one of the big dog cars, then the all-wheel drive version of it was going to be the Zora. But now that they're going to be using the X designation, I believe, is going on. And we've already talked about that in the other episodes. I'm the only one who's reported that so far. Justin hasn't talked about this. Brink of Speed hasn't talked about this. By the way, Brink of Speed put up a great video of the cars out in Colorado, so make sure you watch it. They're all in a parking garage. And that car being tested is a Z06-x, okay, in my opinion. It's not a Grand Sport, but there are... The Grand Sport's already been tested. It's the eray. The eray is the Grand Sport, remove the all-wheel drive, and now you have the Grand Sport, okay? And the car costs, you know, 15 grand less, because they're probably going to make the all-wheel drive like a $15,000 option. So, anyway, so that's what's going on. But what I'm getting at is the ZR1, in my opinion, that was still like a Jekyll and Hyde Frankenstein car. But I think that to try to get me to lose my bets and to try to kill my credibility, because it's not just about me losing my bets, it's about GM trying to crush my credibility, because I've talked about so many other problems with their cars. And so I think that they're going to go ahead and keep this, maybe keep the ZR1 name on the cars and not try to pull a fast one at the last second. But there will be a Zora, and the Zora will be what the ZR1 was going to be. So, but now they're just going to go ahead and do the X designation on all the different cars, I think is what's coming. And the X stands for all-wheel drive. It's the electric motors. So you heard it here first. That's what that car is in the parking garage. It's a Z06-x, in my opinion. And there's just going to be... and by the way, I still think that the regular Grand Sports are going to be in people's driveways long before the what do you call it? The Grand Sports are going to be in people's driveways long before the ZR1, because technically the current eray is the all-wheel drive Grand Sport. So then there's going to be a two-wheel drive Grand Sport and the all-wheel drive Grand Sport. And I'll venture to say I bet even those make it to people's driveways, because I bet you they quality control hold the 2025 ZR1s for a little bit. What do you want to bet? So there's still chances for me to win both ways, but I'll probably put the ball in Darren Walters and Andrew Zurich's court and say, okay, fine. You want me to pay my bet? Here's the money. Do you honestly think that either of you are justified to tell me that a Grand Sport wasn't coming? And do you honestly think that either of you had the slightest fucking clue what you were talking about more than I did? And do you honestly think that anybody should listen to the two of you over me on what's coming next on these cars? Do you guys honestly think that the fact that you can just sit there and puppet what the mass sheep quantity herd is saying makes you guys fucking knowledgeable? Or are you willing to finally admit that I was right? There's a surprise grand sport. The Zora is going to be yet another car. That was going to be the ZR1. GM shuffled the names around. Are you willing to have some humility and realize that you were fucking wrong and that I was right, and that GM is just trying to wiggle now to try to have you guys win bets on technicalities? But technically, I could play the exact same game, but my credibility is worth more to me than the money that I owe you two brilliant creatures who just know so much. Okay? I could play technicality too and say all the erays in everybody's driveways are now called all-wheel drive grand sports. It's no longer going to be called the eray. Okay? There's probably going to be people scraping the eray, peeling the eray logo off their cars and putting all-wheel drive grand sport on their car soon, because that's a cooler name, a Grand Sport X. That's what the car is. Okay? And that's what it's going to be called moving forward in 2026 and beyond. Okay? But again, I still think I got pretty good odds of some grand sports making it to people's driveways before the ZR1, if GM keeps the ZR1 name on the 1064 car. Again, they could call the 1064 car the 1064 Grand Sport SS, and the ZR1 and the Zora are yet saved for other models. Plural. We'll see what General Motors does. See ya. Oh, and by the way, the truck's coming, the SUT, the SUV, the sedan, everything's coming soon. And General Motors is going to make these big announcements, and the stock's going to fly because all the cars are made here in the USA. And so they avoid all the tariffs, and it's going to help out General Motors tremendously. See ya.